What if I told you that long before the United States became a nation, complex societies built vast cities and established laws so strange and unique they would shock us today? We're not talking about ancient Rome or Egypt. We're talking about the land right beneath our feet, a place where immense earth mounds still stand as silent witnesses to a forgotten history. Imagine a city without police, a place where justice wasn't served in a courtroom, but in a ritual that involved a special cup and a powerful drink. What if I told you that these societies had laws about something as simple as a broken pot, and that breaking one could lead to a serious punishment? These weren't just simple tribes. They were sophisticated civilizations with rules and systems that governed everything from trade to marriage, and they all centered around the very earth they shaped. Get ready, because we're about to dig deep into the forgotten laws of the Mound Builders. These weren't just random piles of dirt. The mounds were the heart of their communities, ceremonial centers, burial grounds, and platforms for the homes of their leaders. And just like the mounds themselves, their laws were deeply connected to the land and the community. Their legal system wasn't about a king's decree. It was about balance, harmony, and keeping the peace among everyone. One of the most fascinating aspects of their law was its focus on restoration, not punishment. If someone stole something, the goal wasn't to throw them in a jail. It was to make the victim whole again, to restore balance to the community. For example, if a person took a tool from a neighbor, they would be expected to return it and often provide something extra as a form of apology and compensation. This approach was far more complex than a simple eye for an eye mentality. It was about mending the social fabric that had been torn. But what about more serious crimes? Think about murder. In many societies, this would result in a death sentence. For the Mound Builders, it was different. It wasn't about the state or a single authority figure deciding the punishment. It was a matter for the families involved. The family of the victim could demand what was known as blood money. This was a payment or a service from the family of the offender, a way to settle the debt and prevent an endless cycle of revenge. This system avoided further bloodshed and allowed the community to heal. It's a mind-blowing concept that an entire society could manage such a serious issue without a formal police force or prison system as we know it. This reliance on community and family extended to all aspects of life, including marriage. Marriage wasn't just about two people. It was a pact between two entire clans. Laws dictated who could marry whom, often to prevent a marriage within the same family line. This wasn't just for genetic reasons. It was a way to create alliances between different groups and strengthen the entire community. It was a legal framework for social cohesion. And then there were the laws you might not expect. Remember that story about the broken pot? The Mound Builders, especially the people of Cahokia, had strict laws about property and public behavior. Imagine a large, bustling city, tens of thousands of people living together. Keeping order was crucial. A person who carelessly broke another's pot might face public shaming or be forced to work for the person whose property they damaged. It might seem small, but these laws ensured that people were respectful of each other and their belongings, preventing minor disputes from escalating into major conflicts. But the most unique and strange legal practice was the use of a special ceremonial drink. Imagine a large gathering. Disputes or serious crimes are brought before the community leaders. The accused would be given a drink made from the black drink plant. It was a powerful stimulant that induced sweating and even vomiting. The belief was that if the accused was lying, the drink would make them sick, revealing their guilt. If they were innocent, they would not be affected. This was a form of trial by ordeal, but it was also a deeply spiritual ritual where the truth was believed to be revealed by a higher power, not by human judgment alone. This was their courtroom, and this was their lie detector. It's a completely different way of thinking about justice. These laws were not written down on paper or carved into stone. They were passed down orally from generation to generation, woven into the stories, songs, and traditions of the people. They were a living part of their culture, a moral code that everyone understood. Their legal system was not about punishment, but about maintaining balance and harmony with the community, with their ancestors, and with the very earth that gave them life. The Mound Builders were a civilization that flourished for centuries, and their ability to govern themselves without the formal institutions we recognize today is a testament to the strength of their community bonds. They were sophisticated architects of both earth and society. Their laws weren't about control, they were about cooperation. They remind us that there are many different ways to build a society and maintain order, and that some of the most effective methods are those that prioritize healing and community over punishment and isolation. One of the most powerful examples of this focus on community governance was their system of trade and economic law. The Mounds, particularly at major centers like Cahokia, were hubs for a vast trade network that stretched across the continent. Goods like shells from the Gulf of Mexico, copper from the Great Lakes, and obsidian from the Rocky Mountains all passed through these centers. To manage this massive flow of goods, they didn't rely on written contracts or complex accounting. Instead, they used a system of trust and social obligation. A trader who broke a promise or cheated a partner didn't just face economic consequences, they faced a loss of reputation and standing within their community. This was a form of legal enforcement that was incredibly effective. The social pressure to be honourable was a far stronger deterrent than any fine or prison sentence could be. This is a mind-blowing concept, a vast, intricate economy running on trust and reputation. Their laws also governed the use of shared resources like land and water. Land was often seen not as something an individual could own, but as a gift from the spirits to be used for the benefit of the entire community. Laws and customs dictated when and where people could hunt, fish, or farm. This prevented overexploitation of resources and ensured that everyone had enough to survive. Disputes over a good hunting ground or a fertile patch of soil were resolved through community discussion and the wisdom of the elders, not through a winner-take-all legal battle. This communal approach to resources is a fundamental difference from modern property law and shows a deep respect for the natural world. And what about the laws governing ritual and religion? The mounds were not just physical structures, they were spiritual centers. Laws dictated who could perform ceremonies, who could enter certain sacred spaces, and how rituals were to be conducted. These weren't just rules, they were the very fabric of their spiritual life. A violation of these laws wasn't just a crime against another person, it was a crime against the entire spiritual world, and the consequences were often severe, including social exile or ritual purification. This integrated legal and spiritual system meant that their laws were infused with a deep sense of meaning and purpose. Think about the sheer scale of the organization required to build these mounds. The largest, Monk's Mound in Cahokia, is taller than many modern buildings and took generations to build. This kind of project requires immense planning, labor organization, and laws to govern it all. There had to be rules about who worked where, what materials were used, and how the labor was shared. These were laws of construction and engineering, passed down through oral tradition and enforced by community leaders. The mounds themselves are a physical embodiment of their legal and social structure, massive, enduring, and built on cooperation. Their legal system also had a strong focus on mediation and peacemaking. When a conflict arose, the first goal was always to bring the two parties together to find a solution. The elders and leaders would act as mediators, not judges. They wouldn't just declare a winner and a loser. They would help the two sides talk, listen, and find common ground. The goal was to restore the relationship, not to punish one side. This is a powerful contrast to modern legal systems, which often focus on adversarial combat. It highlights a society that prioritized community harmony above all else. This approach to conflict resolution ensured that even after a disagreement, the community remained whole and united. The laws governing personal conduct were also a fascinating reflection of their values. Public shame was a powerful tool. A person who acted selfishly or dishonorably could be publicly ridiculed or gossiped about. This may seem harsh, but in a society where reputation and social standing were paramount, it was an incredibly effective way to keep people in line. It was a form of justice that was quick, clear, and reinforced the values of the community. It's a powerful, mind-blown moment to consider that an entire legal system could function effectively without a single prison cell, relying instead on the power of community and reputation. If you enjoy these soothing historical explorations, please like the video, subscribe to History Candle YouTube channel, and ring the notification bell for more peaceful journeys into the past. And write in the comments from which country you're watching this video. The legacy of the Mound Builders' laws is a powerful one. It reminds us that there are many ways to build a just and peaceful society. Their system, built on restoration, community, trust, and harmony, shows us a path that is fundamentally different from our own. It's a history that is often overlooked, but it's one that holds profound lessons for us today. The mounds, standing silently across the landscape, are not just ancient relics. They are monuments to a sophisticated legal system that governed an entire civilization, a system built on cooperation, not coercion. They are a testament to the ingenuity and wisdom of the people who shaped them,